Hi everyone, Jillayne here with Huntress Yoga. And this evening session, we're going to be focusing on deepening our rest so we may get better sleep. And with everything going on in the world right now, there can be this tendency of fight or flight, or our stressors are on overdrive. So a lot of people have been asking me, what can I do to kind of wind down the system so that we can get better sleep, so we may be more functional and present during the day. So this is a 30-minute session, and I designed this session so that you could actually do it in bed if you want. I'm not in bed, but especially if you have a baseboard on your bed, that would work really well, or a wall behind your headboard or your headboard itself. We're gonna hold each pose for about 3 to 4 minutes. And again, like I said, this will be a 30-minute session for you to let the day go and start preparing yourself for a really nourishing, deep, restful sleep, which is so important for our mental health, for our immune systems, for our general overall well-being, our emotional health. So we'll go ahead and get started. So we're going to start with Viparit Karani, which is legs up the wall. Also, for tonight's session, you don't have to have any props, but props will be really useful. So if you do have props at home, I would go ahead and grab a blanket, 2 pillows. I brought some bed pillows there. If you have bolsters, that's wonderful as well. So 2 blocks, a blanket, and a bolster, or some pillows will be great. And if you don't have any of that, we can modify. And so I'll give a little bit of instruction with how to use the props. And if you don't have the props, then I will just show you how to get straight into the pose without any props. So Viparit Karani is going to be our first pose. It's legs up the wall. Here I have a bolster. And you can't see it right now, but I pulled the bolster out about 3 inches away from the wall. So the way that we get in this is that you sit to the side of your bolster like so, and then you flip the legs up, and you want your buttocks to be in between the bolster and the wall, so it kind of dips down. This is really helpful for those with back pain. So if you have any lower back pain, this can help alleviate it. And like I said before, if you don't have a bolster or a pillow, you can just keep the pelvis, sacrum straight on the floor and just bring the legs up. Bring the feet together, bring the legs together. Use your hands, grab onto the back of your head, lift the head up, bring the chin to the chest. Elongate the back of your neck. You're probably already feeling a difference in the energetics of your body just by being on the earth, lying up, letting the legs be upright. Bringing the arms out to the side. And you can kind of inch your heels up the wall to lengthen the back of the legs. If this is really difficult for you to get this 90-degree angle, you can scooch back and be at a little bit more of a diagonal. So perhaps the buttocks is 5-6 inches away from the wall. Once the body is aligned, now we can start to bring in the breath. So the main thing with winding the system down is that we let the mind kind of turn off and not be so busy with all of the thoughts of what came before, what's coming tomorrow. Seeing if we can just give ourselves the gift of being fully present. Knowing that this is our time, we're allotting for ourselves
to come back into a calm and peaceful state. And everything, all the thoughts, all the to-dos will still be there tomorrow when we wake up. But this is the time for the body to restore itself. So keep going and legs up to the wall. I'm going to turn around just so I can talk to you a little bit easier. If it's hard for you to meditate, a lot of people ask me, I don't know how to meditate. How do I meditate? And one of the first instructions I give is single pointed focus. So one of the best things you can do is just focus on your breath. Bring all of your awareness and your attention to right here, right now. And see if with that intention and attention, you can start to lengthen the breath. So maybe it's just a second or two longer than your normal breathing pattern. But even that is going to start to relax the mind. Here we have our arms out. If it feels more nourishing for you to have your hands on your body, that's wonderful as well. Just sending signals to your body that you're safe, that you can let go. It's okay to unwind. And with the breath, you can also do a gentle body scan. Just noticing what parts of the body you feel a little tense, and maybe you hold the breath there for a moment longer. See if you can work to allow that part of the body to release. I like to start with Viparit Karani because it's good to flip our perspectives and get us, upside down, so to speak. So by laying on our backs, letting all the blood flow, drain out of our legs, it's really good for circulation. Most of us are on our feet all day, or sitting, walking, standing, on the go. Viparit Karani is also really good for cardiovascular health, so it's getting the blood up to the heart. It's also getting the blood through the digestive organs. You can allow your eyes to close, letting your back and your spine fall heavy on the earth. If your mind begins to wander again, you can bring it back to the breath, or you can take your thoughts to something really pleasant, something really peaceful. Perhaps that's a place you've visited or a place you'd like to visit, a person very dear to you. Maybe a time of the day that brings you a lot of peace, like dusk or dawn, or a food that brings you a lot of comfort. Really, it's anything that allows our doing, thinking, stressing, overthinking, overdoing mind to turn off. So a few deep breaths here before we begin to transition to our next pose. Good. So your legs are up the wall. Do a profile view here. Your legs are up the wall. You're gonna slide the legs down the wall. Then you're gonna pull the thighs into the chest. It's okay for the feet to leave the wall. You can interlace the fingers, put them on the shins, pull the thighs into the chest. Keep reaching for the knees to move up to the upper chest, to the collarbones, deepening in the hip flexors. If you're up on a bolster, keep the feet on the wall and gently pull in because you don't want to roll off that bolster. Good. And then you can roll to the side ever so gently. Take a few minutes or a few moments there if you need. And then pressing yourself up. We're going to come into Paschimottanasana. So we start in Dandasana, staff pose, and here is where a strap may come in handy. It's my block. And if you're really flexible, then you could grab a block too. I'll demonstrate that. So you'd probably notice here, I'm moving to the side. I use my hands to remove my buttocks flesh out from under my sits bones. Kind of walk my feet forward a little bit. So I bring my shoulders over my pelvis, bring my hands behind me, fingertips on the earth, fingers facing forward, gently pressing up, press the thighs into the earth. So something's got to go down for something to come up. So we're wanting to lengthen the spine. If you're on your bed, it's okay if you don't have a hard surface to press into. You can just press your thighs into the bed. Spread the mounds of the feet, spread the toes, lengthen the Achilles heels. Start to feel that length on the back of the leg. Good. Broadening the chest. Let's take 3 deep breaths here. Good. So keep the length of the spine. Bring your arms out, palms facing up. Inhale, we're gonna lift up. Extend the fingertips away from the earth. And then we're going to begin to hinge forward. So the back may start to round pretty soon. This is a restorative sequence, so that's okay. Even if the back starts to round here, forward fold. So if the hands don't reach the feet, you can use a yoga belt, or you can use a regular belt, or a pair of yoga pants. A very long belt here. And you put the belt or the strap, or whatever you're using, around the mound of the foot. So right under the toes, right there. Good. And then you choke up on that strap. Meaning I'd rather your arms not be way back here because we don't want to be muscling the pose. It's better if we use our body weight. And then here we're just going to be deepening, using our inhales to lengthen the spine. Using our exhales to find depth, just folding over. If you're not using a strap, you can have your hands to the side. You can drop your head. And if you're really flexible, you can use a block. Take the block behind the feet and grab on to the sides of the block so it lengthens the legs a little bit. You can also bring your arms around and grab onto your hands if that's in your practice. Otherwise, you can just fold over the legs, working at the depth that's appropriate for you, and remembering here it's all about the breath.
So a lot of our stress and tension, if not all of our stress and tension, it lives in the body. So somewhere we're going to be holding that stress. That's why doing a sequence, a breathing practice, a gentle yoga practice right before bed, it's going to help to dispel that stress, that mental anxiety, so that the system can really let go and really fall into a deep sleep. And I mention this a lot in my teaching, that the breath is a tool to open the body. So we use the breath. We actually use the breath to create that space and that opening that we're looking for, to find more release in the muscles and the connective tissues, lengthening the bones. So see what it's like if you think about your breath and use your breath like that as a tool to open the body, and that might help to keep the presence and to keep the attention on the breath. Last few deep breaths here, seeing if the body has offered any more release. It's such a beautiful feeling when the body starts to open up. Good. Slide your hands back so they're by the hips. Gently press the hands into the earth as you lengthen the spine, lifting the spine back up, coming back into Dandasana. Can be a really deep one, hamstrings. So I'm going to flip my mat to a profile view, and we're going to come into Supta Baddha Konasana. So reclined butterfly pose. And this is where a bolster or bed pillows could come in really handy. Also, if you have a strap, I'll show you what you can do with the legs. So I always like to give options just in case you have the equipment at your home. So here's a bolster. If you don't have a bolster, you could use rolled up towels. Make a big fat Tootsie Roll out of them. You could use a stack of blankets. You could use bed pillows, whatever you have around, or you could go straight back as long as it's okay with your hips. If you have a yoga belt, you're going to make a loop about yay big, put it around your back. The belt that's on your back is going to be at the rim of your pelvis, the top of your pelvis, and then the other loop is going to go on the outside of the feet. You want to make sure that the buckle is never on the skin. And then you can use the tail of the strap, pull it towards you to bring the legs closer. So again, the strap is around the back, around the rim of the pelvis, soles of the feet together, knees wide, and then the front of the belt is on the outside of the feet. This is going to help protect the hips from over-splaying, over-opening. You can also use bed pillows underneath each thigh. So if you have 2 bed pillows, you can put them under the thighs. This pose is going to feel really nice. If you have a bolster pillow and you're reclining back, move it about 2 inches away from the sacrum. You can press down on the end, and then you're just going to lie back. Arms open. Here, it is important that the chin isn't too high, so I always like to, again, use my hands behind my head, lift my chin to my chest. A lot of stress can get stuck at the base of the skull, the top of the spine, so we lengthen the skull away from the spine. And then as we lower, we keep lengthening the skull away from the spine. Good. So we want a long neck. And arms can go out to the side, or again, if it feels more comfortable for you to keep the hands on the body, that's great too. Opening the chest, opening the hips. Seeing if we can get the breath all the way up to the top of the head, the crown of the head. So it comes up, in, through the belly, through the diaphragm, through the chest, through the lungs, through the throat, all the way up to the crown of the head. Pause, and then the breath floods out. Really keeping that length of breath, just moving, 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 moving out. Sometimes I think about a surfer riding a wave and how that surfer wants to catch as much of that wave as they possibly can. It's kind of like the exhale. A lot of times we cut the exhale short. So see if you can keep dispensing a whole exhale when there's nothing left. The inhale comes naturally. Relax the brow, relax the forehead. Soften the throat, soften the eyes. And maybe here it's a good moment in the practice to start thinking of all the things you're grateful for. So gratitude is a beautiful medicine for the heart. Brings us into a really open, receptive, gracious, humble state. Taking note of all the things that we have. Even if it doesn't feel like much, it's probably more than a lot of other people on the planet. And even just the fact of being alive, just being grateful to be alive, to have breath, to have a body, to have the ability to share time and space like this in a virtual way. Last few deep breaths here. I know it feels like we could probably just fall asleep like this. I'm going to do a few more openings. Now you can bend the arms, bring the palms to press into the earth. Gently press the body up. See if you can lead from your chest. Maybe you bring your hips a little bit back, coming back up. If you have a strap around you, you can remove the strap. We won't need the strap again, so you can place that to the side. And we're going to come into Balasana, child's pose. So here, the feet are together, the knees are apart. You can scoot back, cross the legs, roll forward. We'll be on our hands and our knees. And if you have a bolster, you can, or a pillow, I'll demonstrate with a pillow this time. You can bring your legs wide. So there's a few ways to do Balasana, and I really encourage you to find what feels good for your body. This is one way which I will demonstrate. Another way is bringing the thighs together and then allowing the chest to come over. This is going to bring more of a rounding. You can see how my lower back is really rounded. And you can bring back of the hands onto the earth, palms facing up. You can look one way, look another way, or bring the forehead to the earth. You can also stack the palms. Because it's nighttime, we're going to bed shortly after this. I recommend having your palms facing up. It's really receptive, and then resting your forehead in your palms. You can also lengthen the arms out if that feels good too, to perhaps stretch the side body, stretch the shoulders. So again, just giving you options. If you have some support and you'd like to do a wide-legged child's pose, you pull that support in between the legs, and then you lay over the support, and you can rest one cheek on the support. You can even bring your hands underneath if you need a little more height. If it's difficult for you to keep the buttocks on the feet when you come forward, so go ahead and find which version works for you. And I'll start the timer. You can grab a blanket, or two, or three, or however many you need, and you pull that blanket up on the calves, right in the crease of the knees, and that's going to provide you some support to sit back on so that you can protect your knees. So hopefully I've given enough variations for everyone to feel comfortable. This is a really sweet pose. And I'll let you know when we're halfway through so you can flip the direction of your head. Go ahead and turn the direction of your head, so opposite cheek. And here you can probably feel that it's really broadening the back ribs and the diaphragm, the back of the lungs. It's really good to get oxygen in the back of the lungs. A lot of bacteria, viruses, disease can actually fester in the back of the lungs. It's an area we don't think about too much. So here with the compression of the front of the ribs, Most of that expansion is happening here. So really breathe into the back body, expand the back body. Last deep breath here. Slide the hands out so they're underneath the shoulders. Gently press yourself up. If you have a pillow or bolster, keep it close. We'll use it for Shavasana. We're going to come forward, cross the legs, sit back. Last pose we do before Shavasana, corpse pose. This is Ananda Balasana, so it's happy baby pose. Let's get some really nice opening in the hips. So we lie back onto our backs, pull the thighs into the chest, and then we're going to open the legs, pull the thighs into the chest. And then we're going to grab on to the pinky mound of the foot, or you can grab on to the big toe with the middle and the index finger, whatever's more comfortable for you. If your hands don't reach your feet, again here you can use a strap or a belt, a pair of pants, a shirt, anything you have. And then we're going to bring our heels right over our knees, knees moving in the direction of the earth. Keep the sacrum and the buttocks heavy, deep breaths. So it's like we're doing a moving meditation this whole class, this whole session, this whole time, just meditating on our breath, meditating on opening our bodies, meditating on letting any unnecessary stress go, unnecessary thoughts. If you like, you can rock side to side a little, just real gentle. Good. Last deep breath here. So we're going to let go of our feet and we're going to come back into the pose that was Supta Baddha Konasana. So soles of the feet together, knees apart. So bring the feet together, bring the knees apart. We're not going to be here long. Good. And then you're going to keep the knee close to the earth and slide the left leg straight. And then you're going to slide the right leg straight. And this is going to help keep more of the pelvis on the earth and less of that tilt in the lower back. If you have lower back sensitivity, you can grab a pillow or a bolster, a stack of blankets, a stack of towels. Bring them under the knees, and maybe here you want to set yourself up and bring the pillow under the head. You can bring the hands on the body or the arms out to the side. Shavasana, corpse pose. So this is where we really let everything go. We allow our bodies to fall heavy onto the earth, onto the bed. Allowing that sweetness of breath to travel all throughout our bodies, wash our minds, allow the eyes to be heavy. And here, if you'd like to just stay here, that is amazing. If you do get up, I encourage you to return to this exact place before you go to bed or take a nap. If you do want to seal our practice by sitting upright, you can inhale, bring one thigh into the chest. Exhale, bring the second thigh into the chest. Hug your arms around your thighs. Roll over to the side. And then gently press yourself up. Coming into a comfortable seated position. You can even bring both pillows under the thighs here. And taking notice of the difference, these simple things we can do go so far and make such a huge impact on our ability to keep living our best lives, being our best selves, being of service to others and to the world, and taking care of ourselves first and foremost so that we may be able to offer ourselves. So I thank you so much for taking care of yourself, for taking the time to practice. Please leave any questions, comments below, anything you'd like to focus on. I'd be happy to design a class just for you. Again, my name is Jillayne with Huntress Yoga, and make sure to subscribe to our channel so you get updates with new videos. And I hope you have a beautiful sleep, and I hope you feel really sweet and peaceful inside yourself. Namaste.